New crypto investors, this is 𝑒𝐭𝐫𝐢𝑧𝑠. I'm going to show you strategies to make a good deal of money in a crypto bull run, depending on the amount of money you start with and the entry of your crypto investments, whether you're early to the party, middle phase to the party, or late phase to the party. I will show you not only expectations on what to look forward to money-wise in terms of ROI, but also strategies, general strategies on how to accomplish those financial goals. Before we get into that, I want you to know that whatever money you put into crypto, that money, you need to be fully comfortable losing it all and still and defined as you can pay your bills, right? If you lose it all. Second of all, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a dude with the Bitcoin hat on who's been looking at charts for if you're viewing this in 2025 during that bull run, assuming the 4 market cycles occur, which in my library videos in the description section, you should look at the library, the market crash and cycles video. You'll see why. So hopefully, if you're tuning in 2025, it lands on the right year and the cycles maintain. Hopefully. So future Tillians in 2025, let me know in the comment section. But current Tillians, Cryptillians, and crypto crackheads, my crypto pronoun folks, my crypto army, you're tuning in during this bull run. And right now we're about early midway through. Okay, so April of 2021. All right, so let's get going. A general rule of thumb is that the smaller amount of money that you start with in crypto, the smaller caps that you need to buy in order to see a larger return at the end of the bull run. Obviously, the earlier you start, the better ROI you're going to get. Or not obviously, but very likely the earlier you start, the more ROI. So regardless of your entry, if you start out with $1,000, whether it's beginning, middle, or late, if you have a fairly aggressive goal, you cannot do that goal by buying just Bitcoin. Because by the time you get in, if it's a full-blown bull run, Bitcoin might 10x. That's not good for crypto. That's horrible, right? Now, if you bought Bitcoin at the bottom, sure, it might 20, 30x maybe, but that's during a bear market. So we're talking about you entering in a bull market, right? So, however, if you come in with a 25 or 75, from a $25,000 to $75,000 portfolio, you could also use that strategy. However, you're dealing with a little too much money to put all your money into small caps to get that aggressive ROI, because you will move the market too much. Sometimes you have to buy $100 to $300 at a time on small caps because you'll become a wick, and in that market buy of $300, you will move price 8%, and the majority of what you bought was way higher than current price, and it drops right back down. So you become a wick. So therefore, you actually have to put a portion, if not half or so, of your portfolio into mid-cap coins, which still get way more aggressive gains than your large cap coins, which would be on page 1 of CoinMarketCap. Yeah, so anything on page 1 of CoinMarketCap, you would want to play with those more exclusively if you're coming into crypto with like $250,000, $100,000 to start, right? So we won't cover that in this video. I will do that in another video. But folks, more, middle class and or younger folks, $1,000 for perhaps younger folks, or, people around the world, different currencies, and $25,000 to $50,000, $75,000 starting point. Yeah, I'll cover that as well, because in February, I had a 24-year-old message me saying he started with 50K, and that month he already made it $1 million following my strategies. So I know he said multi-millionaire. So I'll also go over some basic strategies in this video. So stay tuned. All right. So that's the first general rule of thumb. What does even small cap mean? Well, small cap, cap means market capitalization. That means the amount of, it doesn't technically mean this, but the amount of investor money that's in that coin or that project. So the market cap of Amazon, I think, recently passed $1 trillion, right? The market cap of gold is 7 trillion or 9 trillion or whatever. The market cap of Bitcoin was around 2 trillion when it was hitting 60K. Right now it's sitting at like 54K, so it might be 1.7 trillion. So the larger the market cap, the much slower it'll move. It's like an elephant will move much more slowly than a small roadrunner, you know, exact same idea. So if you have $1,000 and you want to potentially change your life with that, the way you're going to do that is with small cap coins that can 100x, right? All right. And mid caps. So mid cap just means, by definition, they are mid-tier coins in terms of being on page 2 and 3 on page market cap. Small caps are typically on page, I don't know, 5 to 10. All right. And this bull run, the market cap of a small cap might be totally different than if you're tuning in at 2025. So in 2016, when that bull run started, a small cap was like $250,000. This year, a small cap is like $20 million, and a micro cap is under 2 million, 2 million and under. So I recently caught MTV, for example, at 1.8 million, which was like super micro cap. And from the time I bought it, it 43x'd, and it's only April, and I bought this crap in February. I took profits at 36x, just a little too early, but it's actually dipped down a little lower than current price, or from the time I sold it. So I actually bought it all back and more because I took profits. I sold high and I bought lower, right? That's part of how you can make $1,000 into $1 million. So this comes to a point. The second rule of thumb is that you cannot meet your goal by buying and praying. You can't do it. You don't just freaking buy coins that YouTubers talk about and hold them for 2 years. First off, in 2 years, it's going to be worth 2% of its value. It's going to look at my market cycles and crashes video. So you don't want to do that. Not financial advice, but whatever you buy will lose 95 to 99% of its value. In the bear market of 2018, even Ethereum lost 95.2% of its value. Bitcoin lost 83% of its value. Cardano lost 98.77%. So 99% of its value, literally. I mean, $1,000 of Cardano sincerely became $1.83. 99% of its value gone, right? So the second rule of thumb here is that you do not buy and pray. So you can split that into two different ideas. The first idea of buy and pray is, this is not some generational wealth thing. You need to dump this crap around December. This is not financial advice. Assuming that bull runs continue ending around tax time, or for tax purposes around December, January. The second column of this second rule of thumb is that in order of buying and praying, not buying and praying, is that you do need to take profits. And I have a video in my description section called 20 bags. That is a strategy on selling high and buying back lower a coin that you had already bought low. So you don't enter when things are skyrocketing. So hopefully you know that much. You buy things when they're low. And it's a strategy on how to take profits at levels that you're guessing are good levels, with the idea that if you sell 20% of that one coin, so not 20% of your whole portfolio, rather 20% of this coin, 20% of that coin, whatever. So if this coin play races up to the moon, if you see a strategic level to sell, you would, in this theory, you would sell 20% of that. And what happens is, if you sold too early and price keeps skyrocketing, you still have 80% of that asset of your bag that's skyrocketing. And even when you sell way too early, what happens is typically if you sold at a strategic level but it kept going, usually that asset, so play, is already running out of steam. So if it did 10x or 5x and you sold it that for a good reason and it goes 8x, well, that only went 3x. You know, that only went actually not 3x from the 5x. It just percentage wise, it just went a little bit higher. So you can take that 20% and go temporarily move that 20% of your play into something that looks like it's getting ready to fly, and then sell it at, let's say, an 80% increase. And once that portion, that original 20 bag of play sells from having bought tone and sold tone, you have nearly double that amount of that 20 bag that you sold of play, right? Because 80% increase is almost double. 100% increase is double. And then by that point, play, since it skyrocketed, what goes up must come down. You gotta get down and get up. Is coming down. You have nearly doubled that, and then you move it back in to play, and you can actually buy more than if you had just been holding. You will in the end have more of that asset had you just bought and prayed. Even when you sell too early, if you sell at a roughly good spot, what happens is the same thing, but you can buy back way more. So as you leave 80% alone of this, you know, let's call it play or hero coin, and it does a wild, like, you know, 6x in 5 days, which honestly MTV did do that for me. It was 1x. Actually, MTV did 1x per day for 42 days on average. It did 42x in 42 days. It's crazy. And BPro's not on here, but I have a lot of this in staking, and I sold like more than half of it at a very strategic level. That no one believed me, but it was. In retrospect, you could look at my, you know, if you look through my videos, you'll see a black thumbnail with me holding a ball of fire. I called it perfectly in that video. Future Tillions, if you want to check that out. But anyway, in the times you do sell it at a very strategic moment, not expecting to sell tops, but you sell within 30-40% of a top, what happens is that asset will come down pretty severely. And the general rule of thumb is, if a coin, so this is a general strategy, so this isn't a general rule of thumb, this is a strategy. After a coin skyrockets, the general strategy that is almost foolproof in a crypto bull run is that if a coin does something like a 300% run, it'll correct close to 50%, almost 100% of the time. So if you had sold this, go grow it in something that's getting ready to take off, and hopefully you can increase it by selling it at 80% or 100% increase. And by the time that all happens, your hero coin or play that just skyrocketed takes about 2 weeks to correct. You can move it back in. And in the event that you just left that 20 bag alone and sold high and never increased it down here, you can buy double the amount you had. But if you can double it by moving it into here first and then buy back after 50, you quadruple the amount of hero coin that you had from that original 20%, right? So now that original 20 bag of play is almost like, you know, it's getting closer to half of your total play because you just quadrupled it, right? Now it's close to half. You don't have an 80-20 anymore. You have a 50-50, right? Do you see what I'm saying? So that's a general strategy. Now, for every bit bigger that a run gets above 300%, the bigger the correction. So typically a 500, so let's see. So typically a 500 to 900% percent increase will correct 60%. Anything 1,000 and bigger, those typically correct 70. But you don't get many of those in a year. Not a lot. If you want an example of that, I will show you right now. Watch. It just works like almost every time. So just, if you're new to this, you might just want to trust what I'm saying. You might not, this is not financial advice though. The thing is, you're not going to believe it because you're not used to, actually, this is a messy graph. Yeah, it's a little messy. Let's do So I don't even know if this actually is a good example. So a 6,000% run. Yeah, there you go. 71%. Yeah. B-Pro went on a 6,000% run, the one with the messy graph, and it corrected 77%. Okay. The rarity in these is something this bull run of 2021 is Veracity. It went on a pretty wild run too. I mean, you know, straight up from January to April, freaking 10,000% run. It only corrected 52%. This is very, very rare. No, 56, but still, that almost never happens. So it just works almost every time. It's probably 49 times out of 50 that general rule of thumb works. It just, so, but the thing is, future Tillians, if you're coming to me, or if you're new to this during the 2021 bull run, it's going to be hard to believe because you have the feeling that things go up forever. You're a buyer in prayer. It's scary to sell. I get it. However, if it goes on that big of the run, you're not going to be able to believe it, but it's going to happen. So for a specific example, when I let my viewers know, like as it was happening, I was recording the video, Veracity was printing some nasty bearish divergence as it was screaming up. It was right here, and I left this green line here for a reason. I said, personally, if I held a lot of Veracity, I would sell it right now. And I said, I don't care if it goes up higher. I guarantee, and I said to my viewers, I know I'm going to be able to buy it back later, probably 45 days later, at a lower price. And during that 45-day span, since I'm confident this is a good place to sell, I bet I can double my money before I buy back my Veracity. And then all the Veracity noobs, right? People new who don't understand price action, and that's why this channel exists, because I know it's confusing, and I know the feeling that it's a green day every day. Every day is green, right? I know, but it's not. And it's hard to understand that until you live through your first big correction that Bitcoin goes down about 35%, and it's bloody as hell for a month, and your account drops by half. Once that happens, then you'll understand. But if you're watching this at a point where that hasn't happened to you yet, and all you have seen is your account go up, trust me, you need to look at what I'm saying here. Because I know it's hard to believe, but you probably should give the benefit of the doubt. But anyway, a lot of the Veracity people who were new, right, were just gonna, oh, it just kept screaming, you were wrong. It's even higher. And they kept going back to my videos and see how wrong you were? See how wrong you were? And then it's, wait. And then who got the last laugh? I did. And I'm pretty sure I said 30 to 45 days in my video. I bet I will be able to buy it back lower. Let's see how long it was. The time it crossed. The time it got lower. Even sooner. 26 days. It happens. And that's, so don't be caught up in the thing that whatever you bought's going to go up forever. It won't. It's going to correct, and it's going to correct by more than 50%, more than once, if you're in a smaller mid cap. Big caps like Ethereum and Bitcoin, they typically only correct like 35. Well, no, Litecoin and Ethereum historically have done 40% corrections. But now that Ethereum's so big, 2021, it probably will only see like 35 to 40% corrections. Bitcoin does 35 to 40% corrections too. 2 to 3 times in every bull run, right? So small caps will get 40 to 60% corrections on average, about 2 to 3 or 4 times every bull run, right? But it's hard to believe if you haven't seen one happen before. And then you will be brought to reality really fast. All right. So what I'm trying to say is, give what I'm saying the benefit of the doubt if you're sitting here thinking this guy's wrong. That's what a lot of people thought. And I got the last laugh over and over and over on other assets, on B-Pro, on Veracity. The only really thing that I blundered on is Ethereum this year. It just decided to never correct. It's the only thing that I called wrong. It's really strong. But there have been like 20 moments where people come on my channel saying you were wrong. And I was like, just wait. And the week hasn't even closed. right? So, and then pretty much every call has gone. So, but it's hard for new people to see is my point, right? And I'm not trying to say I'm a genius. It's just I've seen this before, so I've been desensitized to it, and you have not. So it's hard for you to imagine this. I understand. All right, I'm trying to convince you to give what I'm saying the benefit of the doubt because it's going to help you make a lot more money. Is what I'm doing. All right. So now I won't go into levels on how to sell in this, but these are general rules of thumb. You can watch my other videos, and really just even if you're tuning in the future, let's say 2021 in October, just go back to some of my February and March videos on anything, just any of them, especially the altcoin ones. So maybe not the ones particular to Bitcoin and Ethereum, but go to the altcoin ones, and I show you how we sell, like right there in the moment, because those months were very, very hot, February and March of 2021. Just go to those videos, just watch them on 2x speed and get through them. You can see me do it over and over, and you can see me put horizontal lines and tell you why I'm putting them there and why I'm going to sell 20 to 30% of my bag there. And then 2 weeks later, the same month, you see it hit that exactly. Like literally price hits it. It might spike past it a tiny bit, but then it just goes way below it. Over and over and over. So so those are the 2 months if you're tuning in from the future to go look at. February and March of 2021. It's over and over and over. Seriously. And I honestly, I don't know if any of my horizontals got it wrong. A few of them got it wrong because they were a little too low. But I still sold super profitably, and that asset still went below where I sold it. I think 100% of the time, almost 100% of the time. A few of them actually just kept going. But one of those, MTV, I actually decided not to actually 20 bag at all. I just held everything until I knew it was going to stop at its all-time high. So it got rejected from its all-time high. I did sell 10% of my bag there because it doesn't go from the bottom past the top and fly. That's almost impossible. But it went straight up to its all-time high without stopping. If you want to take a look at that. If I can use my brain here for a second. There it is. Straight up. And I bought it right when it crossed into here. In those yellow and red lines. $43.5x. I sold a little lower at 36x, my 10 bag. Okay. Don't expect this to happen. You need to get about 10 to, so you need to diversify so that one of your coins does this. If you get into if you split your $1,000 portfolio or $25,000 or $50,000 portfolio into 15 different assets, let's say all small caps, for example, one or two of them will do this. And then you'll have one or two that'll do this. Silo. It has the same shape, but technically it was not as aggressive of a run. That's only 8.5 times your money, right? Because 100% is 8 times instead of 42 times, right? So it looks like it's as aggressive, but on a percentage basis, it's not because its previous all-time high was much lower, right? But still, you'll have several that do this, and it happened quickly. Like this is literally February, like March. It all happened in March. So some of them all happen in February, similar to BPRO. BPRO's run almost exclusively happened in the month of February, early March. And I wrote it 22x or something like that, right? So, and then what's been happening since then? We've had a market correction, and now it's boring and sideways for a month. So both of those combined at least 2 months, but I think it's going to end up. Future Tillians, you can leave me a comment if this ends up being true. But right now, Bitcoin price is just did its correction, and I bet we go sideways and up until June. Yep, until June. I don't think we'll break out of 75K until June. So our previous high, we're just inching up highs, right? On this origin line. And I don't think we'll break above this orange line until June. Yeah. So leave me a comment if you're coming in from the future Tillian, whether it's 2021 or 2025. All right, back to the show. So everything I just said applies to people who are entering with a portfolio or entering with capital between 25K and let's say 75K. However, the only difference is you cannot put, so if you come in with 50K, buying 50 different small caps, $1,000 each is not feasible. And really, I only have 2 mid caps here because, you know, a 25K account, that might be okay. But if you're dealing with 50K and 100K, you'll probably want even amount. You'll probably want like 8 of these and 8 of these. And perhaps 60% of your account in here. Maybe more, maybe 70%. If you're so closer to 100K, the higher this number will be, like closer to 70, right? So if you're at 50K, maybe 60%, something like that, right? If you're at 25K, then maybe, I don't know, half and half. And starting with this early in the bull run, if you know how to buy and sell, given, you know, that you're not going to be a buyer and prayer because you're watching my previous videos and I proved to you that buying and praying is horrible, and I'm making way more money than buyer and prayers, even if their coin's going way up. And I actually can make more money than them as something just goes like this. Something that's really hard to believe until you do it yourself and see it. But yeah, there's a lot of money in ranges. But assuming that you are not scared to sell, I mean, you should easily be able to make this $1 million if you get in near the beginning of the bull run before Bitcoin has passed an all-time high of its previous cycle or of its previous market cycle. Should easily be able to hit $1 million. Just buying and praying, you could probably hit the goal of 750K. Just pick the right coins and don't sell anything until December. That would be a very realistic goal. So that is all I got for you on that regard. Now, the third rule of thumb, and then I'll wrap up, is this. When you are selling, you do not. So if you sell play, or if you sell MTV, not the music television, that only played music for like 6 years. If you sell MTV, you don't need to, and you sell 20%. That 20% is not reserved for MTV. You don't have to let this hang out until this dips in 3 weeks. Cross-chain. Cross-play. Okay? Like, you can have an orgy of coins. Just everybody going with each other. If I may make such a reference. Yeah, take that money because it turns into either Bitcoin or a stable coin. And assuming, let's say you don't even have all these picked yet, but you're trying to pick them. Well, whatever capital you're going to put into it, put this capital in there too if it's getting ready to fly. And then just remember how much was the 20%. And then exactly when you buy it, immediately, without waiting, the same 10 seconds, same 20 seconds, immediately put in buy orders. Assuming your analysis says it's going to take off soon, put your buy sellers for, 100% profit, or if you know where to sell horizontals, that number actually might be more like 300%, right? But you don't want to do it too high because that might take like 3 weeks, and by that time, the original asset that you sold might be flying too, right? So even if you think the next horizontal of resistance up is 300, you might want to, get out get out at like 135%, something like that. That's 2.35 times your money. 2.4 times your money. That's pretty good. And then by that time, MTV might not be at like a stone cold bottom. It could be right at, it could have gone, whoa, and then kind of corrected, come up. It could be right at where you sold it, right? And you didn't get to buy it super low. That's still fine. You still just 2.25 extra money. Doesn't matter. So you don't have to time these perfectly. And it honestly is, even though I timed a few perfectly, don't expect to time it perfectly, right? But sometimes it just works out. And not only that, sometimes you need to cross-play it twice because you sold your MTV 20 bag You put it into something like BPRO, it flies like in 3 days. And these sell orders go, and you have now 2.4 times your money. MTV is not ready to buy it still. So you go find another one. You know, let's say you put in less aggressive orders. You want to get in and out kind of quick, maybe 60% increase, right? That takes a week. Let's do $100 even. So if you sold $100 of MTV, which is your 20 bag, for example, and at the time you sold it, it was $100. What did I say, 60%? Let's say 65%. That's almost quadrupling your money. So if you're able to buy MTV at equal or lower, if you actually catch it in a dip, you'll be able to buy 8 times more. So if you catch a 50% dip, with the same amount of money, you buy double. You have double the MTV. If you're able to 4x your money, right? Because you sold MTV and it was turned into $100 of either Bitcoin or it's late at night, sorry. So it was 3 a.m. But I'm doing this for my future tillions. And you 4x your money, and MTV goes down, let's say 50%, but then you catch it when it's only, you know, a little bit under. You're still buying like 5-6 times amount of MTV that you originally had from that 20 bag sale, right? So this is the power, and this is why it's honestly not that hard in a bull run. As long as you get in early, you know, not long after Bitcoin is passing its previous all-time high from the market cycle top, as long as you get in around or earlier than that, turning $1,000 into 9 is, as long as you have 2 hours a day, you're probably going to do it, as long as you get over the 2 most common obstacles, which hopefully this video has shown you. You don't need to follow those obstacles. 1, you don't buy and pray. And 2, don't chase green candles. Don't buy glory. Right? So you're going to see a lot of YouTubers talking about crap. Let me give you an example. So, do you think YouTubers were talking about Harmony 1 here? No. They were talking about it here. So all those people buying it here, which is a lot of them, they were immediately down within 3 weeks, like half their money. Don't do that. Do not buy green candles. Don't chase green candles. Don't buy glory. You buy dips or blood. You buy breakouts. Or you buy crosses when they're low on their chart. If you're not doing one of those 3, it's very likely you shouldn't be doing it. Don't buy YouTuber hype. It's going to crush you. Could you get it right once, the first time, and you feel like you're hot shit? Yeah. But that will set you up to lose big the rest of the times, because the likelihood of getting lucky once is actually kind of low. If you just buy the right green candle, and then when it corrects, it happens to only get just close to where you bought it, but still up, right? But if you buy after YouTubers talks about stuff, you're going to go down. You're going to be down. I'm telling you. So don't chase green candles, or another way to say it, don't buy glory. You buy blood or dips, breakouts, and crosses on the bottom of the chart. And if you don't know what a cross is, it's just when the exponential moving averages are crossing up. And you can watch my library video on how to set up your chart like mine. And you just go to the weekly and you look for the red to go above the yellow. That's a great time to buy in crypto early in the bull run, or even midway through if you can still find something like that. That's it. So those are the general strategies. Those are your general expectations. If you like this video, go ahead and subscribe, even if you're a future tillion of the bull run of 2021 or 2025. As long as I don't, like, you know, disappear from Earth or get in a car accident or have a heart attack or whatever, I'll knock on my drum practice pad, which is my mouse pad. As long as none of that happens, I will still be here. So go ahead and like what you see, and feel free to share it with others that you might be, coercing to be into crypto, or the person who got you into crypto. Share this information with those people, because it's very likely they don't know what the hell they're doing either. So we'll see you later, and don't hesitate to look at my previous videos on times 2 speed.